Hey everybody, Cynical Buddha here. It is September. That can only mean only one thing. Bosco's back issue sale here in Anchorage, Alaska is already come and gone. And I have a nice lot. Let me readjust the camera here. I ended up, if you haven't watched any of my other prior, like Bosco's back issue pickup sales, Bosco's has a big event room here in Anchorage. In August, they fill it up with all sorts of comic book boxes, stuff they've picked up over the years. And it starts off at $4 a book, and then every week it drops down like $3, $2, $1. Last week of August, it goes to 50 cents a book, or a short box for $50, a long box for $60, or 3 long boxes for $150, which is, pretty awesome deal. I ended up picking it, going in the first day, everything had dropped down to the last week to 50 cents, or pick up a box for 50 bucks. It was packed. It was a lot of fun. Dodging everybody picking out, and everybody asking what everybody else was looking for. So I picked up a short box. I have a bunch of stuff sitting outside of it because I've started bagging and boarding, so it takes up a lot more room. But I wanted to go through and show you what I picked up. I usually pop in early August just to look through the selection to see what they've, because there's a lot of stuff that rolls over from year to year. So, I always go in to check out what they've got available, new this year. And the one side project I had was I was trying to pick up every, Marvel annual, from 88, for the Evolutionary War. And I was missing like 3 or 4. And I picked up the rest that I needed. I needed Fantastic Four. I think I actually own this, but I have no idea where it's at. So I picked up another copy of the X Factor, Spectacular Spider-Man, Avengers, and New Mutants. And that rounds out the whole reading order. I have all the rest of them. So one of these days I'm going to just sit down and, read all the annuals in reading order. Because I had picked up a few back in 88, but none of that. So here, let's go through the rest of it. I ended up picking up 2 issues of Gizmo from Mirage Comics. Mirage, famous for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Picked up a bunch of Aztec Ace from Eclipse. A lot of miscellaneous stuff here. I'm always looking for Iron Man. This is the new series. So I ended up buying a short box. When I got it all entered into comic book realm, and I calculated how many I had picked up. I think it worked out to 21 cents a book. So picking up newer stuff that was, cover priced at $4 for less than a quarter. Awesome. Samurai Doggy, I hadn't heard of this one, but it's fairly new, and picked that up. A couple issues of Underdog from Gold Key. They're not in the best shape, but they're definitely readable. I always grab Carlton stuff. This is a Space War. It's not in the best shape, but it is what it is. Picked up a bunch of Fantastic Four. I've learned over the years, if I just start grabbing stuff, I've probably already got it. So I log into Comic Book Realm on my phone, and I go back and I specifically look for stuff I need and runs. And so Fantastic Four was one of those. Here's like 475 is a later issue, but stuff from the 80s, 288, 279. I always love the cover with Beyonder too, and Doctor Doom. Some more, this isn't new anymore. This is from I think the 90s, right? So, but some more Fantastic Four issues. Oh, just filling holes. That's what I love about this. If you can find it, if you can find the right stack, it's usually, they buy whole collections and will cherry pick stuff out to sell at a premium. But a lot of this stuff that's, just a couple of dollars, they don't have room to put it all out in the back issue area. So it goes in this sale. And so you can find almost complete runs or partial runs, which is great. So I ended up filling up a couple huge holes. Nothing fantastic, nothing, super expensive this time around, but definitely, just, there's 301, 300, 305. So I'm just going to go through them quick because I know. Let's see, 324, 325, and 383. I also was able to pick up, as I walk away from the microphone, some magazines. So these are sitting off separate, but Colleen Doran's A Distant Soil 1, 2, and 3 from Warp Graphics was a great pickup, and they're in great shape too. That was the best part. That's the one thing when you wait till the last week of the comic book sale, stuff gets pretty picked over and can get pretty trashed. I also was super excited because they had Destroyer magazines, and I'm a big Destroyer fan. Last year I found a couple issues. I ended up picking up issues 1 through 7 off of eBay that were in a lot higher grade, but I still needed 8 and 9. And wouldn't you know it, they had a whole bunch of Destroyer mags in really good shape too. And they both had the last 2. I mean, I picked them all up because they were in good shape. So I'll be high grading in my collection, but both issues 8 and 9, and 9 is the last issue. Which is funny because in the back of the magazine, they're still selling, 12 issue subscriptions to the magazine stuff. Yeah, it was not very popular, unfortunately. But let's pull out some stuff that I picked up. I'm always looking for Iron Man. I mean, one of my main goals is to, I would love to put together the original Iron Man, like from what, I don't know if I'll ever own a number 1, but, the original volume 1 that went up into the 90s before they did the Heroes Reborn and revamped the numbering. But picked up number 390, oh sorry, 320, which is a 90s issue. I wasn't like buying a lot of comics back then in that time, so it's great to find those higher issues. I think I actually had this issue, but I just always loved giant size for 25 cents. So, but definitely a lot of mid 80s, early 90s stuff that I'm filling holes in. So here's 210, 218, 209. And these are all in really good shape too, which is the best part, Some of these have a few spine ticks, but here's 207. I always love this one with Shellhead and Spider-Man. 206. This is, I can't remember what, after a while the volumes are like, so volume 2 or volume 3, but the 99 annual. Then I also picked up, I always will pick up Marvel 2-in-1s. So I picked up a nice stack of 2-in-1s. And these are all in pretty decent shape too. There's, not super high grade, but definitely very readable, and the covers are great. The nice thing is a lot of these are in bags. And so the bags are trashed and super dirty, but once you pull the comics out, they're nice and clean, and they look great when you put them in a new bag and board. So a bunch of, Marvel 2-in-1s, which was a nice pickup. I'm always looking for Bronze Age stuff. Let's see, what do we got next? A few issues of Warlock and the Infinity Watch. I had the first couple of issues of this. But and so if you remember, this came right after the Infinity Gauntlet miniseries. So a couple issues of Night Stalkers 2 and 3. Let's see what we got here. All right, a few more Fantastic Fours. Early 200 series. Picked up a couple now Terminator books. I might actually have both these already or not, or I needed one of them. I can't remember, but I used to love Now. They had, when Now came out, they had Ghostbusters, which is my favorite. I'm still trying to finish that set. But they also had a lot of properties like Terminator and Married with Children. And back when, Now was coming out, they were $1.75 an issue, right? So, that was almost twice as much as like a Marvel or DC at the time, so or pretty close to double. Also, I've been slowly building the ROM Space Knight series or set from Marvel, almost exclusively from this from this back issue sale. Ended up picking up a bunch of issues I needed: 16, 28, 35, number 7. So like some nice low number early stuff. 15. 24, number 8. Sorry, it's not in order. Number 5, 14, 25, and 26. So, nice to fill a few gaps there. I also was able to find a few, again, another series I've been building almost completely from this back issue sale is Warlord, because I love Mike Grell, and it's fun, you know, it's a fun series. So picked up some high, like, you know, like sub 100, 96, 97, and 98. And that, I think, gets me pretty close to having everything. I have issue number 1, but some of the early issues I'm missing. I ended up picking up a couple Badger. I used to love Badger when it was by First. But these are from Capital Comics, so these are even earlier issues. So really nice finds, and they're really good shape too. So I also picked up a couple Exo Manowar that I needed. Love the old Valiant. I think there's a few more in here. Speaking of another defunct comic book company, CrossGen, I had most of Way of the Rat. I actually bought it new. But it was nice to find one of the higher, near the end of the run issues to complete the set. I haven't completed the set, but I still need a couple more issues. A couple more newer Iron Man issues. I love the painted covers. I think that's Joe Jusku, right? Or Alex Ross, I can't remember. But like, again, I mean, paying 25 cents for the current run of a series is awesome. Another 2-in-1. Spectacular Spider-Man Annual number 13. A couple DC Comics Present. This one's pretty trashed, but readable. And then here's another issue. And then number 86, the Crisis crossover issue, which is nice too. I found all 4 issues of Phantom Zone. Not you know, not a particularly high-priced book, but it was nice to find the full miniseries all together. And so when I can do that, I'll pick it up because it makes for a nice read. I also found a huge stack. Just Bosco's used to do these gigantic, like, you know, gigantic, thick, like full series or whatever. And they had one that had all these new universe titles, and it was the first 4 issues of all the original new universe titles. So I got 1, 2. I've just ordered some more, or maybe it was just 1 through 3 of all the series. But so Spitfire and the Troubleshooters 1, 2, and 3. Cyforce 1, 2, and 3. I just got some more bags and boards in the mail, so I'll be bagging and boarding these up. DP7. Let me pull the rest of these out. DP7 number 1, 2, 3. Mark Hazard Merc 1, 2, and 3. Night Mask 1, 2, and 3. Starbrand 1, 2, and 3. Kickers Inc. 1, 2, and 3. And then again, some more Eclipse Aztec Ace. There was a nice little run, so I ended up grabbing them, most of them, or all of them, except for the doubles. Some of these still have to be changed out of their old. But I do like the old indie stuff from the 80s. So when I mean, it's not like this stuff is a super valuable, but it can be kind of hard to find and put together. And, you know, why not grab it when it's super cheap? So that's what I did. Let's see, what else do we got in here? Another little stack. So Sleepwalker, been slowly putting that 90s run together. There's number 13 that I needed. Punisher Armory number 1. As one that I didn't have for the Punisher collection. I've also slowly been putting Marvel Comic Presents, the weekly series, together. There always seems to be stuff like these stuffed in the back issue sales. So I've been slowly putting it together for cheap, to filling it, because I had bought the first few issues back in the 80s when this came out. So and it's kind of fun to have a nice anthology, right? Like there's lots of cool little side stories and mini stories, and then Harbinger series from Valiant. Was able to find some of the some issues I needed. In very good shape too, which is always nice. Next up, an older Superman. Just saw it and grabbed it. X-Men 2099. Couple issues of that. I think I have number 1 in my collection already, but 5, 8, 2, 3, 4. Marvel Superheroes from Springer 92, 80-page giant. I love those. Love the format. so I will grab them whenever I get the chance. Hawk and Dove from the 80s. It's another one where I think I might have grabbed the first issue and it's never followed up. So even 80s DC I really kind of like too. So that was issue number 6, number 7, number 8, number 11. Miss Mystic, which, you know, I always thought of it as part of the, I'm trying to have a brain fart, but you know, these were the Pacific titles of Miss Mystic, and it was hard to pass those up, especially issue number 1, and I grabbed both of them. Again, nothing super valuable, but pretty neat to find in the wild and in really good shape. Further Adventures of Indiana Jones. I love this as a kid because I loved Indiana Jones, and so having the comic book with stories, just an issue that I needed for my collection or for my run. Some old Kamiko Grendel too. Again, just filling holes in the. I've been slowly picking up Grendel stuff when I see it. Lennis Attacks, the Spectacular Spider-Man Annual number 9. Putting together that annual run as well. Let's see. Picked up a bunch of Marvel RoboCop. I just saw it. They had a whole ton of them. And I had totally forgot that Marvel had done a RoboCop series back in the 80s and 90s. So picked up 18, 15, 14, 13. No, I don't think number 1 was in it, but you can see quite a bit of the run, which is nice. And they're all in really good and decent shape. So it's number 22. And I picked up one JLA. I probably already had this one, but it was in really nice shape. Well, I guess there's a stain. I guess it wasn't that nice. I look at it. But another series I would love to complete the run. And I'm never going to find Justice League number 1 and be able to afford it. So at least in any kind of like readable condition. But I am trying to put most of the run together. And I have been since I was first started collecting comics back in the 80s. And I used to find these for a quarter at flea markets when I lived in El Paso. So fun. And then I was also able to grab a huge chunk of Incredible Hulk, too. Another, you know, I collected it back in the 80s and 90s and then went to college and stopped buying it. And I really never picked it back up. I never considered myself, like, not, like, collecting comics. Just, you know, there are times where you just either, they're at other priorities. So it was nice to find a bunch of issues I needed to fill some holes. Some later issues of the original run, like 427, and early 400 issues. And I do believe I got into some Gray Hulk stuff too, but some real nice, you know, like 80s issues too. You know, here's Mr. Joe Fixit. I love the old McFarlane covers too. Oh, there's a dupe. Some annuals. I love picking up the annuals here too. There's usually a bunch, and so if I look and I don't have it, I pick it up because there are some of my favorites. You know, some of those stories are like out of continuity, you know, or side stories. So I love the old annual stuff. Back to early 300s here too. Oh, Life Form, so annual number 16, annual number 20, and through 14 there. And finally, last book. I'm slowly trying to finish my original Punisher run. I have almost everything from number 1. That's one of the series I collected a lot of to like very close to the late 90s. So I think some of the issues I need are the like last of the run, but I ended up needing annual number 3, and they had it, so it was kind of nice to be able to fill a hole, even if it wasn't in the main series. So overall, I'm pretty happy. My wife was not all that happy that I brought home another box of comics, but I was able to use a birthday gift card so for the whole box, so it didn't cost me anything. Somebody bought me this is my birthday present, and I got to fill a lot of holes too. So I really had a good time. It was a lot of fun digging in the back issue room with everybody. It was packed and everybody's having a good time filling up boxes, long boxes, short boxes. People just looking for individual issues. But I'm looking forward again to next year. Before it'll probably be next year before I know it. There'll be the back issue sale be on again. So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.